I have no idea what's going on anymore.
We are here. We're here. Oh my gosh,
Woo!
we are here. Uh, I'm so excited about this. This is our live show where we're going to talk about Book Love is Blind, my beloved series that's been so much fun. And we've got our Bookish Matchmaker Chelle, of course, because she's the one that picked all the books and did all the work of actually typing out the books for the 10% of each book for me. And so I've got to come clean and say that I haven't quite picked my top three. So I was thinking, like, what would be a good way to figure this out? And then I was like, let's just do like a live show reaction the way they do in these dating type shows, you know? And you could ask me about my dates, and then we will narrow it down. I mean, I've got it narrowed down, but I don't have my final, you know. So, how's that sound to you? Good to you? So give me an idea of like when I asked you to do this live show reveal, what you thought we should do, like as far as like how should we format this?
Well, I think that we should do a montage, just like those dating shows. I think we should talk about each of your dates in order, and then everybody watching, when we're going through a particular contestant that you like, you should chime in and tell her why you think it would be a good match for her as well.
Yes, and there
So,
should be a question in the comments. I put a question up that says which of these contestants do you think would be my best match? So answer the question. Let us know what you think is going to be my best match because I'd like to hear what everybody else thinks as well.
all right.
So let's
And
see.
then after that, we'll ask some questions, and then you will have to choose who you want to go on three more dates with.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Are you
I'm
ready?
nervous. I'm so nervous. I'm so excited. And I'm nervous because you did an amazing job, Shell. Like, this is ridiculous how well you did with this. So I'm kind of pissed at you, but also very excited about this.
Good. You know that's when I'm happiest, when you're like not sure whether you're happy or pissed. It's my sweet spot.
That is, yeah, that's kind of questionable, Shell.
I know. I know. I know. All right. Are you ready?
So let's see who's here with us. Hey, Leanna.
Hi.
Mom says, can't wait to see what you pick. Final three. That's right. Top three. We got a Danielle with us. Hello. I know she's been waiting for this. Hey, Alicia. It's good to see you. These
Hi.
are going to be hard picks. Yes. Yes, they're going to be hard picks. Elena said, oh, good. I need a reminder of the books. Yes. So we'll
Yeah.
definitely have our little montage, our video montage ish. Let's see. Hello, Amy and Shell. This series has been so much fun. You both did a wonderful job with this series. It was fun to watch. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jean. It's good to see you. Okay.
All right. Your first date was The Extraordinaries by TJ Klune. How are you feeling about it now?
Okay,
It was a
so
while ago.
I did my research as far as like making sure I went back and looked at everything and reminded myself about all the books and went over my feelings of these books again. And I was thinking that The Extraordinaries would be a really good choice right now because I'm going back like Monday I go back into the school. And so like these kids, you know, this kid's going back into another school year or he's going into a new school year and all the difficulties, the trials and tribulations of being new and not new in a school, but like having to go back to school. And he struggles with ADHD. So like, I'm like, that's appropriate.
Yes.
And as far as the book overall, heartwarming. It was very, very heartwarming. I can tell that I'm going to love the relationship between the father and son. The
So cute.
whole, yeah, and it's so like everything about this is so wholesome and sweet and fun. And I did like the added element of the fan fiction. That was so cool. That was really fun. That was really fun. That was something different for me.
Did you read a lot of fan fiction back in the day, like when fan fiction was like huge, high school, like
No,
middle school? The
you did.
nostalgia
I
I
didn't.
felt, yes, the nostalgia I felt reading that, just remembering how much I loved it at the time and looking back, like how much drama and just ridiculousness was in those things. Like it gave me so many feels and it just made me laugh.
Yeah, I didn't, but this was fun. And the drama it was just so much fun. And then of course, I mean TJ Klune's writing. I don't know, it's funny because I've only read the one book by TJ Klune, and yet I know his banter. So when I first read this one, I'm like, oh, this is TJ Klune. And then when I first read Day Number 10, I was like, oh, this is TJ. It's so funny because I can recognize his writing very easily, even though I've only read one book. But maybe I've just read enough about him or like snippets of other books that I just kind of know. I don't know why, but
And
I
all his
knew
books
I
are
knew pretty
completely
early on.
different. Like his books are very different, but yeah, his tone is very
Mm-hmm.
much the same.
He's got a very specific banter style, um, and so it's a great choice. It's a great choice, and I can totally see that I would love this one. Jean says, I thought I was clicking on a pre-recorded video. So happy. Yes, you're here live with us. We're so excited to have you. Alicia said, I love that Chelle went full circle with TJ Klune. Yes. That was hilarious.
Needs more TJ Klune in her life. This was my way of telling her.
I know. I really haven't read nearly enough.
Your options.
I took the hint. I took the hint.
Good, good. I thought it was subtle, very subtle.
Very subtle. Yeah, absolutely.
So, how are you feeling about that date then? You still have all of those feelings from like it's carried over to the end?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Absolutely. I had those feelings, fantastic feelings. I can tell that it's going to be a really, really fun book. I don't know that this one gave me the most intrigue at the end. Like, I know that I'm going to get a wonderful book out of it, but where we stopped at the 10%, not saying that it wasn't a good 10% to stop at, just saying that this isn't a book where, I guess it's a book where I kind of know what to expect as far as like what I'm going to get from the story overall. And so like the intrigue factor wasn't as high as some of the other books. And yet I know that this will be a wonderful, cozy, fun read. And I will read it at some point. So will I read it right now? Or, I'm going to read every single one of these books. I mean, let's just say that from the very beginning. Every single one of these books I will read. There's not one that Chelle gave me that I'm not interested in. So which that's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I try.
There's a little wink wink to Clint.
All right. And then I took you in a completely different direction and gave you 3 Hours by Rosamund Lipton.
Chelle and I actually talked about this one right after I had that date because that was my most romantic date. And it was not the book. It was not the book for that setting. It was not. And so it was so funny. We were dying laughing at how that worked out, that was the setting that I used for that book. And it was just like, I'm sitting in the hot tub going, oh, wow. Wow. Oh, no.
Yeah. So I left you on a bit of a cliffhanger with that one. So do you still want to know what's going to happen? Are you still invested in what's going on in that book, or has it kind of faded with the rest?
No, I am interested in that book, and I have been interested in that book for a while. So it was interesting that you picked it for me. I had forgotten that was that one of the ones I made you read?
It was one of the ones you made me read, yes.
Sounds about right. Because I'm like, why would Chelle have picked up this book? I can't imagine you picking up this book. So it's definitely one I'm interested in, and I was thinking about coming into fall. It's a thriller, and it would be perfect for this season, although it's not perfect for the fact that I'm going into school. So like that could be kind of stressful. But I'm very fascinated by this. You kind of mentioned in your description of it that like it's a thriller, but it's also very literary fiction. And I liked the writing of this so much. Like I could tell the writing is going to be one that I'm going to enjoy. And book number 2 is 3 Hours by Rosamund Lipton.
Rosamund Lipton, yeah.
That was what Leanna was asking. 3 Hours by Rosamund Lipton. And so I really did just get drawn into this one. It was very exciting, very scary. But I do tend to like thrillers. I just, like you said, you said it. I just watched the video very recently. So you were like, you don't read them very often. You're right, and I do want to read them more often. So Danielle says, what you're saying is that this relationship would be in your comfort zone with TJ Klune. Definitely would be within my comfort zone in a wonderful way, in an absolutely wonderful way. Yeah. So I do feel like, unlike all the other books, I feel like this is an option because it's so good. It was really intriguing. And this is one where, like, kind of like the difference between this one and Extraordinaries, the intrigue, where you leave off the story, how much you still don't know about everything. Like, that could be very intriguing. And, like, what's going to happen next? I don't know. And there's so much that I don't know yet about what is happening within this story.
No, I think the author did a really good job in that one. I also don't usually rate thrillers that high, and it's not a subject that I'm like, ooh, I want to read this. But
No, it's a tough subject.
No, but it was really well written, and it definitely pulled me in. So I thought it would do the same for you.
It did.
All right.
It started out well. Like, it was good.
In the hot tub with your sparkling water.
It was like, so ridiculous. That was so ridiculous. Oh my goodness. I don't want to say I felt embarrassed afterwards, but I was definitely like, wow, this almost seems just the tone of the book is so different than the setting that I'm in. Thanks, Chelle. Thanks for that curveball you threw me.
Anytime. All right. Contestant number 3. The Diviners by Libba Bray. The one that
you knew what you were doing with this.
Read.
Yeah. You knew what you were doing with this one.
I have some of them somewhere.
Oh, let me see if I can pull up pictures and then share my screen. Maybe I can do that.
I have like 5 of them, I think, somewhere. Actually,
I have some of them too. Not the first 2. Oh, I have. That's the Extraordinaries. That's the first one. We don't have 3 hours. Neither of us do.
Book 2? Yes, I do.
Did you buy that? Oh, I didn't know you had it.
I showed you in the video. Any of the
books
that I own were in the videos. 3 hours.
I forgot. I have The Diviners. Hold on one second.
That one.
Let me go grab the books that I have really fast. I'll be fast. And you entertain everybody.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So this is Nall. That's my child in the comments. Say hello to my son. He's on here to promote his choices for Amy. I don't know. You have all of them.
There's no proof of this.
There is proof. I just said it. Oh. Grandma says, hey, if you're paying attention. I scream at my kid. He's in the next room. Although he told me to text him. What can you do? Amy, I don't think you own all of these books. In fact, I know you don't own all these books. So finding a way to show them on our screen might be better. Misheard. He's supporting in his own way. He has very definite opinions on which books would be a good match for Amy, or more the books that he enjoyed of these ones. I always expect to be called out, honey.
Okay. Whew. It's me running around.
TJ Klune got into some hot water because when somebody asked him about one of his books that's got boarding schools in it, or schools in it. They had asked him where he had gotten the idea, and he mentioned that he had been reading and heard about the schools in Canada that had to do with colonialism and all that stuff. And so he got into hot water for it. But it was also, where authors get ideas. He didn't actually like include that kind of stuff in his writing or anything like that. And he didn't take anything else away from it. He just got the idea from that. So
Yeah. I'm just trying to catch up on the comments.
You told me to talk. I talked to Nathaniel.
You did. Hi, son. Hi, Nate. Oh, way to support the adults. I was not expected to get. Yeah, you were, Nathaniel. I have heard bad things. Yeah. So, right. It was for what is House in Trillium Sea?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And if you read the book, you don't see any similarities to it. He just pulled the idea of these boarding schools where kids were sent to. But since he admitted that he got the idea from stuff that actually happened in history, they took it. And so some people gave him crap for it, and then some people supported him. Even Native Americans supported him. It's people get ideas from bad things in history, and that's kind of what he did. Because these schools weren't great, but he took it in a completely different direction. So everybody has an opinion on it.
And Leanna's voting for the Diviners. Probably going to be my vote. I had fun with the first book, but haven't read the rest yet. So that was the one that we're on. We're currently on the Diviners.
Diviners.
I feel like this takes out of context and flipped to be bad a lot. Yeah, I feel like if you read it, I didn't get any vibes for in the House of the Rensselaer Sea for that, but I mean, it's all a matter of perspective and, what you get from the books that you're reading, and it's tough. That's a tough topic. Okay, so
it brings the conversation up, though. That's always good.
Yes, and it does. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sweating because I was running around the house, so I'm really hot now. So I'm trying to catch bring myself together. Okay. Good to know Chelle sounds like it's been taken out of context. And I think that, I think it's difficult because I do see when people are writing and they're finding creative ideas, it's like art, you find ideas, or you come up with ideas when you experience other forms of history or art or different things. And I really think it depends on how you approach it. And so that can be very tricky. I mean, if it had been a boarding school from England, the UK, or even the US, we have actual boarding schools, maybe it would have been a little different.
I don't think anybody would have said anything except for that interview came out and he admitted that that's where he got the idea from. And then that's when the outcry happened. But nobody had gotten that context
vibe from the book.
So there is no real similarity in the books because nobody picked up on it until he admitted that where he got the idea from.
Okay, so we are talking about the Diviners. Book number 3, right?
Yes, the one I picked because I know that you've been dying to read that, and I figured I should be nice and put one that I knew you were dying to read in your choices. So, how are you feeling about it now? Was it what you expected?
Yes. Yeah, okay, so I have been interested in reading this for a very long time. It was not what I expected when I first started reading this, the 10%. I thought it was going to be a horror because you get that first scene where they're dealing with the Ouija board, and it seems like they're releasing this creepy spirit, and it sounds kind of horror-ish. There's definitely scary vibes to this one. So whatever it is, it has scary vibes. And so that I figured out what it was because it did have the Diviners in it at one point. And I was like, oh, okay. But aside from that, I was enjoying the tone. I was loving the setting. 1920s is super fun. And I was liking the supernatural elements, and I really liked the characters. And somebody I talked to recently, who was it, said they couldn't stand the main character. Was it you, Chelle?
Yep.
Evie?
And okay, to be fair, I've read 3 of the 4 at this point. I will eventually finish the series. I didn't. Yeah, she's one of the main characters. So there are multiple main characters, and that made the series a little more tolerable for me. But I could not stand Evie at all. And I listened to it on audiobook, and the narrator does a really good job with the voices from the 1920s, and that just made it more irritating for me. Like
And
I could
I was
not
liking
stand
Evie.
her voice because I couldn't stand her character, and her voice matches her character.
Jean's not picking till the end. I hate the main character of the Diviners, but I like the story.
The story
thought
definitely gets more interesting.
Does she get more annoying as the story goes along? Like, well, I dislike her because I don't like her right now, or I think she's interesting and fun right now. She's annoying, but like in a way that I'm enjoying.
I think she gets more annoying, and then she has moments of not being annoying, and then she goes back to just being really annoying.
How do you really feel about Evie?
Some of the characters are really cool though, and the book's plot lines get very intriguing. And I picked it even though, I mean, even if you had really wanted to read this book, and I did not think that you would love it as much as you think you would, I wouldn't have picked this for one of your top 10 matches. But I did because I think you'll love it.
Yeah.
I think you'll absolutely love the characters and the setting, and the historical fiction elements are going to like blow you away. And there's some author's notes on some of her books that where she talks about why she chose some of the things that she did, and I almost cried. Like I was so touched by some of the stuff that the author herself had to say about the books. So I know that you will absolutely adore it.
See if there's anything else. Oh, and then of course there's lots of intrigue with this. Now I'm echoing.
Not to me.
Well, that's. Am I echoing to everybody else? Yeah. That's what happened. Did
I see you just fine.
Here.
It could just be in your head.
No, everybody's hearing the echo. Chelle doesn't have any headphones.
No.
How come I wasn't echoing before though, and I'm echoing now? Oh, do you have another tab open, Chelle?
Nope.
Nathaniel. Fix it. I can hear me. It wasn't like that before. It's so weird.
I'm not your IT guy.
Yep, fix it.
See if these will connect.
He says he's not my IT guy, apparently.
You don't have to uncoil it. I've never used them before, so they might not be set up.
Okay, let's see. Jean liked the Diviners. I read it in 2012. I remember liking it, and I don't remember being annoyed. Okay, let's see if Chelle.
Is it better?
Can you hear?
I can hear. Can you?
Yeah, I don't hear an echo. Oh, I do hear an echo.
Well, then it's not me because these are headphones.
Oh, pull the headphones further away from the thing. Let me see if I can hear myself as well. No, I still. Try putting the headphones on.
If you put the headphones on, it'll go into your ears, not into the thing.
I don't like headphones. I don't.
Well, when you put them on wrong, of course they're going to feel weird.
Okay, so we're 3. The story is good. I think she was one of those types of characters that I liked not liking sometimes. Definite. Starts out very entitled, but there were some moments of growth. Chelle's happy. Yes, echo. Echo. No echo. Okay, it stopped. Okay, good. No echo anymore. Sorry, Chelle. Sorry.
Yeah.
You get to look as cute as me. Except you're blue and I'm red. I feel like we're playing a game.
Okay.
Hi, Heather. Okay, so love the Diviners. Definitely love the Diviners. The first 10% that I've read. So still feeling as strongly about this one as I felt when I first read it.
Yay.
The
I
only
guess.
negative aspect of right now where I'm at with my reading is that I'm reading other YA fantasies that I feel maybe not exactly the same, but sort of similar. And so, like, will I be in the mood to read this at a time when I've been reading a lot of stuff like this lately?
Fair. All right. So, contestant number 4, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Yeah, that's the book.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
So I knew pretty early on that this was Andy Weir because we read The Martian together.
We did.
We know what Nathaniel prefers. He's made it very clear which one he prefers. And I thought, like, when I was starting to read this, I could tell just by the humor. Like, I like Andy Weir's humor, and it was very evident that this was his writing based on the humor element of it. Like, I could tell it was sci-fi. I was just figuring out what was happening because in this, it doesn't start out with you knowing exactly what's happening. It starts out with you kind of learning what's going on with our main character, which I think is really clever and really fun. So I liked the way this started, and I liked the intrigue of not knowing what's going on and discovering it with our main character. Love that.
So similar to 3 Hours.
Yes. And so the intrigue was high. And I also was very interested in what is going to happen because it's very much a like, this has to be fixed or else sort of situation. So like that is going to be thrilling, and I can tell that I'm going to enjoy that part of it. And it was fun to slowly get to know our main character as he's getting to know himself in a sense because he's remembering bits and pieces about him.
How did you like the science?
I did like that. How much did we learn in the very beginning? Well, he was trying to figure out the gravity trying to figure out where he was based on the gravity because he could feel that. I think he could feel that the gravitational pull was different, couldn't he?
I think so.
No. I think he felt like there was something different.
There's something off with how something fell.
He fell.
And he noticed that there was something off about it. That's correct.
Luckily, Nathaniel's making his choice not based on bias. Okay, I'm voting for Project Hail Mary because it was my favorite book in 2021. That's a good way to plan, Jean. And Nathaniel said, yeah, right. So, yes. And the setting, it's a very cool setting. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in the same situation, but it's fascinating.
So it stuck with you because you kind of got left on a cliffhanger.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely. Sorry, loud truck. Definitely was left on a cliffhanger, and you just kind of want to keep learning about what's going to happen next, and then how he's going to solve the situation or what's going to happen going forward. So. Yeah, incredibly high intrigue. I like the humor in Andy Weir's writing style, and I love sci-fi. So like it's a win. You know, this is definitely another one that was of the top 4 choices so far. These are all fantastic. Another one of fantastic choice, Chelle. Yeah. This is just you coming on to brag about yourself, right? Like, oh, look at me, I'm amazing. I can pick amazing books.
It is. Anybody needs recommendations, I got it.
Oh,
All right.
Leanna said I was not interested in Project Hail Mary until your video. Now I am. I'm glad I sold it. I haven't read it all yet, though, so.
It only gets better. All right. Contestant number 5. My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman.
Frederick Bachman.
Feels, Amy.
Mhm.
I did another switch for you. We went from Project Hail Mary to My Grandmother Told Me to Ask Me to Tell You She's Sorry.
Yeah, and
How are you feeling?
This one definitely hit the emotional vibes. Frederick Bachman does that. He knows how to figure out how to push people's emotional buttons very, very well and bring up nostalgia, bring up like I said in the video, I was like, I like how you ended on her teaching her, her talking about teaching her grandma how to play World of Warcraft. I'm like, because I did the same with my grandma, so it was that and this relationship between the grandmother and the granddaughter. And, obviously grandma and I weren't just like these two, but the relationship, how close they are, is similar to how close I was to my grandma. And then I can tell it wasn't quite there yet, but I can tell that the character development is going to be good. And it usually is for Frederick Bachman. Yeah, it's going to be a heart wrencher. It's going to break my heart.
Yeah, it will.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll love it because it's all about the characters and the emotions.
And I do love character. And there was a lot of really beautiful storytelling in this. So it was whimsical. It was her grandma would make up these stories for her. So that was really pretty. Which is different for Frederick Bachman because I don't typically see him as being more of a storyteller. I don't usually see that side of his writing, at least not in what I've read so far. I usually see more of this contemporary study of people, but he added a lot of whimsy in this one, which was very fun.
A fairy tale element.
Yeah. See, that Frederick Bachman is on my TV. I already anticipate tears. You should. Any Frederick Bachman. Every morning on the way home gets longer and longer. Just about ripped my heart out. So I imagine this will be the same. Yeah. I can't bring myself to read Bachman. Probably smart. Probably smart, well, Alicia.
Amy can tell you that I'm not big on the emotional books or even fully character driven literary fiction books at all. But I believe I gave this one 5 stars. It does have its moments of being really heart wrenching, but it's also really well done and it's really beautiful. And it's a good book. I have no interest in reading anything else he's ever written just because none of them at all seem interesting to me. But Amy made me read this one and I actually really enjoyed
it. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks. It doesn't always work. I'll never forgive you for the mysteries of Udolpho. All right.
Hey, Paige is here.
Hey, Paige.
The pain is so worth it. Yeah. But you thought Mysteries of Udolpho was boring, not sad.
Yes.
LOL, Amy made me do it.
All right. Contestant number 6. Soul Eater by Lily Mayne. Because everybody can use more monster smut.
Jean recently read this. Jean, did you pick this up because of my video where I read it in there? Or did you pick it up also? Well, I know Natalie from Nat Cat's Bookish Cafe also read it. So what made you pick it up, Jean?
She picked it up before because she mentioned it before your video came out, and I was laughing because I was like, Amy's reading that next.
Jean's avoiding Bachman. I think a lot of people probably do because of how sad his books are. Okay, Soul Eater.
There was no monster smut in the first 10%.
There was not. So when I first started reading this, I was a little, so I kept I was having deja vu with this. I'm like, I know this. I know this. I haven't read this before, but I know this. And it's because Mom had talked about it so much recently when she was doing her last Aurelium. I think Spring Aurelium is when she read it, because you bought it for her.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started reading it, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like the setting and the military aspect of it. Like at first I'm not saying that I don't like that kind of book ever, but just I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be interested in that at first. And then I started reading it, and I was like, because it kind of reminded me of the beginning of Starship Troopers.
Oh gosh.
And it's what the beginning of this kind of reminded me of. And that's a good thing. I know that it's considered a horrible movie by a lot of people, but I had so much fun watching Starship Troopers. And so I was like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like Starship Troopers. I was loving that aspect of it. And obviously it didn't go anywhere in that same direction as Starship Troopers. But the beginning of that, just how they're all kind of running in, they're all geared up, they're all doing their things, just kind of reminded me of that in the very beginning. And so, this is another one, the intrigue. Like, the intrigue was so high. I liked the writing a lot. The writing in this is a lot better than Prime Mating Agency. Sorry to...
I think she's English, because I noticed, like, I didn't misspell all of those words. I think it's the English. I think she might be English.
Yeah, huh?
Because some of the words I was like, when I was typing, I'm like, Amy's gonna think that I totally forgot how to spell.
I wouldn't think that.
But I'm pretty sure she's English.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, I feel like the writing style of this is a bit better than the Prime Mating Agency, you know? And so, which I still
It's
love the
darker.
Prime Mating Agency, but, like, this feels like a more substantial read in some ways, you know? And I was intrigued. Like, I was really intrigued. You get into the scenario pretty quickly, but then you basically left me off, Chelle, at a point where I was like, no, I don't want to put it down. And it's a nice short one. So I was like, another one where I can tell it's just going to be so much fun to read. And I was intrigued. And I also, like, you left me at a point where the intrigue was high. I liked the writing, and it seems like it's going to be a fun read, you know? And I have become a Monster Smut fan. Thanks to you and Mom. Let's see. Just read Soul Eater. No, I already had downloaded from KU. I enjoyed it. I picked it because the Roomies Digest recommended it. Okay. I love Starship Troopers too. Yes, we have great bad taste in movies. Lily Mayne is from the UK. Where did this end?
I knew it was English.
I don't remember where it ended. Right when they were just getting flirty or something.
They were talking in the cells. Yeah.
And I really liked the monster's voice. Not like his voice, like the sound of his voice, but like his voice as a character, I could already tell I was enjoying a lot.
Cool.
And, you know, characters for me can really just make me, yeah.
All right. And then another full shift, Dragonwyck by Anya
Let's
Sutton.
see if I can share my screen. Hold on. Can I share this one? No. How do I share that screen?
Yeah, I don't have that book, and I will never read that book. And Google is where that book came from.
Okay, let's see. Come on, Amy. Hello. Wow, that's weird. But can you see that? I can't see it because every time I click onto Dragonwyck, let me pull it up in a different tab. That's how it works.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. Okay, So Jean wants to know if we can vote for 2. Mom said you should be able to
Yes.
vote for 3, right? No, I couldn't get the poll set up, but you can vote for 3. So absolutely, because I have to pick 3, so you can all vote for 3. Jean says, why did you pick Dragonwyck, Chelle?
Because Amy absolutely loves classics and gothic romances. So it's a big thing. Like Rebecca, she recently reread it after making me read it. I gave it 2 stars and she gave it like 5 or something crazy like that. And then Mysteries of Udolpho, I had to read that first too. And I think I gave it 1 or 2 stars and she loved
4
it.
for
So I went to Google.
Dracula. All my other beloved gothic. I love gothic books.
Yeah. So I specifically went and looked for one that had high ratings and that was compared to Rebecca and the Mysteries of Udolpho. So because for when I'm picking a match for Amy, it felt wrong not to have a classic in there. And when I pick classics for her, she doesn't like them. It has to be
my kind of classic.
It has to be her kind of classic. So if I hate it, she'll love it. If I love it, she'll hate it. And when it comes to classics. So, and I was not about to put myself through reading it first to see if I hated it.
I don't understand. Because so like when I was reading it, I was definitely thinking like, wow, Chelle picked this, she read this book? Like I was kind of surprised. But then when you said that you were so bored reading the first 10%, I'm just like, I don't understand how you could have been bored reading it. It was so good.
So bored writing that 10%
I don't understand it.
So bored. I could not. So I had a feeling as I was writing, I was like, I picked good. I picked good. She's going to love this because I find this incredibly mind-numbing.
This is so terrible for me. Amy's going to love it. Well, you were right. You were right.
Classics.
Let's see. Jean gave Rebecca and Dracula 5 stars. Yeah, 2 5s, 2 5s, 2 5s. And for Leanna, Rebecca didn't hit. And it didn't hit for everyone, and that's totally fine.
We all have different taste.
Mm-hmm.
I just know for classics, me and Amy have like the opposite taste.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because you like Lord of the Flies, and I hated Lord of the Flies. Hated. So, let's talk about Dragonwyck.
Talk about Dragonwyck, Amy. Tell me why it's a great match for you in the beautiful flower setting that you chose. Much better than the hot tub thriller.
It was actually very appropriate for the setting that I chose. This was an appropriate read. And I was loving the writing actually was incredibly accessible for me and also very, like, it was writing that was so smooth for me to get into. I loved the writing. And sometimes, I mean, I love reading classics and I like reading Gothic novels, but sometimes the writing takes you a little time to get into. So that's what I worry about going into a classic, like reading the first 10% of a classic. Sometimes for me, it would take me a while to get into it. I may love the classic ultimately, but it takes me a while. But this one, the writing was great from the very get-go. Loved the writing. Beautiful writing, but also very easy to get into. And then I was like, from the very beginning, Chelle, she's reading a romance. I'm like, Chelle, that was just like us when we were kids. I figured you'd identify with that a little bit. And I loved the vibes. I really loved the character development. Like, the main character is not someone who I would consider a main character I would want to be like, but I found her fascinating, and I can't wait to see what kind of trouble she's going to get into going to Dragonwyck. Because I feel like there has to be some supernatural element to this, which makes sense because it's a Gothic novel. Based on some of the things I read, though, there were hints of supernatural. It was so romantic. Like, the writing was so romantic. Okay, I loved it. You're right. This is the kind of book I would really love. Like, totally a good choice.
I know. Google and me were like this.
That's how my husband gives me books. This sounds so boring. She'll love it. That is right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you love like Dracula, give Carmilla, which I would like to read that at some point. A read. That's the first. Carmilla is, I think, the first like officially published vampire story. It's the inspiration behind Bram Stoker's. It's shorter, and for what it's worth, I liked it more. Okay. It'll happen. It'll happen at some point.
All right.
It was a good choice, Chelle. I mean, I know that it wasn't for you, but it's not for you. It's for me.
No, you're right. And that's why you got it.
Yep.
All right. Your next one was another classic, but more contemporary. The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. And I don't actually have that book. Although I feel like I should. Actually, you know what? I do have that book. I just have no idea where it is.
Okay. I'm not going to attempt my computer screen, so you get to do that.
I will do it.
In the meantime, Danielle says, Leanna, I was thinking she would like A Dowry of Blood. I am buddy reading that in October, I think. So hopefully I do like it. I haven't read that one, but it sounds interesting. Dowry of Blood. Mom read it and she did not like it. Decidedly did not like it. The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. I don't know why I always thought this was a nonfiction.
I know, I was laughing.
I
It
really
is
did.
not
I
a
thought it was
nonfiction.
No.
No, but it is a fiction. Historical fiction. Classic
Yes.
type book.
And I'm sure that it's based on like actual experiences and stories.
I believe so. And I did leave that little forward at the beginning of the 10% for you where he kind of talks about that, like that people who've been in those situations related to, like, it's very close to the actual experiences that happened.
Oh, and Leanna says he did go to Vietnam.
That I did not know. It's been a long time since I've read that.
So, The Things They Carried, I thought the descriptions were incredible. And that's really what this is all about. It's using the descriptions, using what's describing these people to actually then build their character. You're understanding more about these guys who are in Vietnam based on the things they're carrying. Like it's exactly what it sounds like. And it's heartwarming, it's historical, it's difficult. It was difficult to read in the sense that because you're getting to see these people as people, not just soldiers in a war, you're getting to see them as individuals, that it's just going to get more and more devastating. It's just sad. It's just sad because it's even though it's fiction, it's based on a reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say caveat, it's probably not considered PC. It's written during a war back in whenever that war was. So there are terms in there and there are subjects in there that might offend people, but I believe it is realistic. It is classic. It is historical.
Yeah.
So caveat.
Yes. Partially based on his real life. So this is one of my favorite books. So obviously this would be one of my favorites. So we know didn't Leanna say Leanna's voting for the Diviners and this one so far? And The Things They Carried. I will say there's one convenience for this one could be one of my choices because I am buddy reading it. No, I'm buddy reading it in November. So
that doesn't count then. I don't think you can pick this one. I feel like we might have to write this one off.
Doesn't that just make it more convenient? Okay. I know. I was thinking about that too. I'm like, should that mean that it doesn't count because I'm already planning on reading it? Or
you can still pick it.
Okay. But I'm not making any choices right now. I'm just saying that I will actually, and that's kind of like, it was, the idea of having to pick from these 10 books is kind of terrible. Like, this was a great idea and a fun idea, but also a terrible idea. I just don't want to because I'm going to read all of them anyways. Like, I'm going to read all of them. How are you planning on reading it? Meaning, like, I'm probably getting it from the library. Oh, you mean like who? I've got one of my subscribers. I can't remember their first name, but Singing Mathematician is planning on reading it with me. And so we said November would be a good time to read it. And I'm planning on reading it physically, which is how I like to read all my books. Are you trying to suggest that maybe it's better to read it in audio? I don't know. You can't choose your love interest based on convenience. I mean,
She's very right. If you have an emotional connection to it, I mean,
How did you decide to read it? Oh, that was one of it's one of the scratchboard ones, which is why Chelle picked it. It's on that scratchboard. Chelle bought me that scratchboard for my Christmas or birthday one year, and we both have one, and the things they carried is on that scratchboard. And so when I had shown my scratchboard, I think that's when Seeing Mathematician said, hey, I really want to read that. Let's buddy read it together. So that's how. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but that's not necessarily one of my 3 choices for this. That's just one that it's been in the works for a while. So. But I can tell that nice, quick, easy read, but I also can tell that it's going to be very impactful, and the writing is really, it's just very personal. I think I said that in the video. Like, it's very personal. You feel like you're getting to know these people really well. And I like that because I like characters.
Yeah. I thought you'd really enjoy his writing style.
This next book is Dusty. Hold on.
Oh, I have that one too. Blood Brothers by Nora Roberts. I do, but you got it.
Do you have it with you?
Somewhere. Yeah.
Book number 9, date number 9. Woohoo! Magda actually got this for me. She wanted to get me a bunch of, just a whole bunch of romances to be able to, because, especially when I was in school, sometimes it's nice to just have a romance as a comfort read, which is what you had mentioned. And so she sent me several trilogies of Nora Roberts, which I've always liked Nora Roberts. And so this was a funny book.
I know. Oh, the laughter. It was so much fun. Yeah.
Were you laughing when you're watching my video, all my guesses, or not my guesses, but what I was likening it to? Oh, it reminds me of Ring Shout in this capacity. Oh, it's like Stranger Things. And
I was cracking up. I was dying laughing. It was so good. So good. and what I expected. Totally what I expected after I realized that there was no way that you would figure it out it was a romance.
No, none. I want everybody to know that the first 10% of this would never, ever give you any indication that this was a Nora Roberts book or a romance. Never. That was hilarious. It was so funny because I'm sitting there racking my brains thinking, what could this possibly be? And a romance never would have been my choice. As far as, my choice of what this could be, Because it's dark at the beginning of this.
It's dark through quite a bit of it, actually. There are trigger warnings for this trilogy. So look at those if you are concerned. It's not major. It's not, there are content warnings. And if you've read any Nora Roberts, some of, especially your older books, have some content warnings in them. Actually, some of our newer ones do too. It is a romance series. Read at your own discretion. Look at the content warnings. It is darker.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I can tell you already that I even guessed that it could be a horror. So this is another book I never thought I'd read, but now I'm interested. Yeah, it was very intriguing. Let's just think about what the 10% you gave me was.
Yeah,
it was
that's
very
all you
intriguing.
Have.
I liked the characters so far, what I got to know of the characters in the little bit that I did. And of course, now I want to know how these, the first prologue was set during the witch era, the witch trials era. And those are the people that have some say in all this magical stuff. And somehow they're related to these 3 guys that you learn about as children. And then you just get into the current time, which I think is the 1980s or something. No, 2000s. This is a newer. Okay, yeah, that's what I meant. Because 1980s was when they were kids. So you get into the 2000s, and we just are talking about one of the 3 boys at the moment. That's all I got into. I got into just we're revisiting this one guy from the 3 brothers, and it was fun. It was very readable. That part, it was very readable, and so I was intrigued. It's very intriguing. And then when I found out what it was, I was even more like, what? Just so shocking.
Oh, yeah.
I want to read
So,
one of those too. We'll just save it for Bookstore. That's it. Exactly. We'll just save it for Bookstore and read it all together.
yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. So I guess you're gonna have to decide when you're thinking about your top three dates, you're gonna have to try to pick it based on what you actually read and not knowing
I
what the
know.
book actually
I
turns
know.
into.
I thought
Because this
about
is
that.
two extremely different books.
Yes. Well, I can say that I really thought the first 10% was very readable. I was having so much fun with it. It made me want to watch Stranger Things. So this Halloween, I might watch Stranger Things because it just, it's a series I've never watched anyways. And for some reason, this gave me those vibes. And so, based on that alone, I enjoyed it. I was very intrigued, like the supernatural element of it.
Right. And then we come to your last date where I brought you right back to TJ Klune with the lightning struck heart
Which is your favorite, I think, right?
of the series
No, of
or
TJ
my favorite
Klune.
book of ever. Oh, I don't know actually. I've loved everything I've read. Book 5, I think, was maybe a little bit less than books 1 through 4, and then I've read a whole bunch of his other ones, but one of my favorites. So what'd you
About when
think?
you were started. Okay, so that book came at the right time because, as you probably all have noticed, in my date number 9, I did that on the same day as date number 10, and I had a very harrowing experience. And so I was very, like, at the end of that 9th date, I went home and I was very, like, it was very stressful. So then I went to this serene, beautiful, amazing sculpture garden, and I read this hilarious book. Hilarious. It's so funny. Like, I tried to capture some of the moments where I was laughing hardest, but I was laughing the whole time I was reading it. Like, it, and I don't often laugh out loud for books. I'll giggle or I'll like smile and stuff, but I don't often like just break down laughing. And TJ Klune has a way of making me laugh out loud all the time. And so it was exactly what I needed that day. And so it was just like perfect. But it did make me, so when I said my, like, have you read Onward? Have you watched Onward, but the Disney movie?
No, not yet.
Has anybody else watched Onward? Because it, to me, was like a PG-13 slash rated, no, not rated R, more like a, it was like Onward, like
It
that Disney movie, but like rated adult.
NC-17.
Yes, NC-17, that's it, adult.
Say it like that.
It was very well because Onward is a Disney movie. So
Well, yeah, if you're comparing it to that, definitely NC-17.
Nathaniel's watched it. Leanna's watched
No,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and it very much gave me those similar kind of character vibes. Like but and also the setting. It was very fun, whimsical. You get these different types of fairy tale creatures coming together, and they're going on these adventures, which is exactly the same as Onward. And I really liked Onward. So I was getting the same vibes at the beginning, but it's just very adult as TJ Klune is. And
Unicorn
again,
orgies.
yeah. And again, the witty banter. The witty banter is so good. Like, he just knows how to throw dialogue back and forth in a way that just is hilarious. It's hilarious. But it was very whimsical. It was nice and naughty as well. And I was very interested in the romance that was going to happen, or like that, at least like our main character, Sam. I was interested in who, like what was going on with him and who he was interested in. But then there was somebody in the way, and like and then now it's basically like Cinderella, because I'm at a point where the king's trying to set Sam up with a husband, I guess, because he cares about Sam so much. And so it's like a Cinderella situation where there's all these suitors that have come to, and so it was so fun and cute. When are you starting new book series? If you know, it will be after January. Yeah, or January after. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I lost track. So, like, this is like a super fun fairy tale story that's funny and is going to like have it, like, it appears like it's going to have these fun adventures with these really cool cast of characters who you can tell they like to give each other a lot of a hard time, but they really do love each other. So, like, I liked
Very
that a
found
lot.
family.
Yes, thank you. Found family vibes are strong in this one. So yeah, it was so fun. It was so great. It was so funny, and it was exactly what I needed that day. And so I imagine going into the new school year that I will need a lot of days where I just need to laugh because I'll be stressed. So maybe that would be a good choice.
Maybe. All right. So those were your 10 dates. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to ask you then were you have a hard time sometimes getting into a book. And in this case, you read the first 10% of all these 10. So were all of these dates sort of insta love, or were some of them still a little bit hard to get into and then you got intrigued further in?
Um, I can't say they were all equally insta love, and but I did enjoy my first 10% with all of these. So, like, I can't say that every single one of them made me instantly be like, oh, I want to pick this right away. Or, like, it took time to build up a little bit more, but not so
Hmm.
much as other books I've read. So that was good. Like, um, my grandmother asked you to tell me she's sorry. Like, that took me a little bit of time.
Okay.
The things they carried took me a little bit of time, not a long time, just, like, I had to, it's almost like sometimes the writing style, some writing styles lend very easily for me to just kind of I do really well, go right into it, and other ones it takes me a little longer to adjust to the writing style, if that makes sense.
So more of the literary fiction books then take you a little bit longer to develop like an emotional attachment to them, maybe?
Maybe because I think in those ones sometimes you have to figure out what's going on exactly or get to know the characters, and the characters are what really develops it for me.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
All right. Okay. So you talked about the intrigue a little bit.
Oh, there's something ringing, Mom.
Oh, it's time to feed the animals.
Oh,
So
sorry.
some of the books that I chose are definitely more of the
Can you hear Mom in the background?
yeah. Some of them were definitely more cliffhanger-ish than others. Do you find that those ones are keeping your attention more, or does it not affect it?
Um, that's a good question. So maybe a little bit only because I have a hard time wanting to put it down in the sense that, like, I want to find out what's going to happen next. Maybe I don't necessarily want this to be my choice over another book, but like I want to immediately find out what's happening next. So it's harder to put it
Hmm.
down in that moment because I'm like, just give me another chapter. Just give me another chapter so I can figure out what's going on, and then I'll be able to put it down, that sort of
Hmm.
feeling. And so that makes me excited to move forward. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I would rate it more highly for my enjoyment overall than some of the other ones that had less of a cliffhanger.
Okay. All right. And then which date besides number 9, because we know that's a complete utter.
No clue. No
which
clue.
which which date like surprised you the most, either in a good way or a bad way? Like maybe you were expecting to really love something and you didn't maybe love it as much, or you thought you'd like it, but you found yourself enjoying it even more than you expected to. Like I'm not counting 9 here because 9 was just a full on surprise.
Yeah. Probably Soul Eater.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
because I was digging it. And like I said, I really did like the Prime Dating Agency, and I've been enjoying it. And I'm almost actually through that whole series. At least what's out so
There's
far.
2 new books now.
Just the Dryad one. Is there
No,
another one that came out?
there's another one that just freaking came out.
She drops these books all the time. I'm just like,
And
what?
she gives you no warning.
No, there's no warning. And so I like that series a lot, but I wouldn't say that I like reading those books more than I like reading some other books. Whereas with Soul Eater, I could see liking this book more than other books. You know, like, I don't know how to explain that in a way that makes sense. I feel like the Prime Dating Agency feels more like candy, fun, good stress relief. I think that they're really, really fun books for me to read. But do I think that for me, the writing of them is impressive where I'm like, oh, this is so good? Not necessarily. But I feel like Soul Eater could be that way. And so that's what surprised me about Soul Eater. Like I just was really impressed by the writing, actually.
She does have some good world building. All right. So, are there any contestants, and this won't hurt my feelings much, that we're getting on the time to choose? Are there any contestants that you were able to rule out pretty quickly?
Should we go with your guesses first? Or no, probably not.
Okay. No, you go first. So we'll see right away whether my
because then your guesses won't mean anything. I told Chelle to guess my top 5 because that's where I'm at. I have 5 that I'm ready to choose between. I haven't chosen my 3 out of those 5. So I told Chelle maybe she should choose what she believes my top 5 to be, either based on what she wants. Well, it's up to you whether you want to go based off what you want me to. So I don't know. What do you think?
I will tell you. Okay, here is what I expect you to pick for your top 5. Number 1, and this is what I expect you to pick for your top 3, The Diviners, Project Hail Mary, My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, Dragonwick, and The Lightning Struck Heart. Those are my guesses for your top 5. Okay, so now, which contestants, and I'll try to, lower my expectations. Which ones have you ruled out?
I think when I read The Diviners, I could much more easily rule out The Extraordinaries and 3 Hours. Not that, like I was saying, that those will definitely not be it. But having read Diviners, I knew that was going to be one of my top 5. And so, as much as I enjoyed The Extraordinaries, which I did, I really enjoyed The Extraordinaries, but I think the reason why I was able to not vote on that one was because it was more predictable, and not in a bad way, but in like I'm going to enjoy this book. It's going to be so wholesome and fun and sweet. And I'm going to love it. But I think in that instance, some of the intrigue of the other ones kind of weighed it out a little bit, and 3 Hours, I am very interested in reading that one. I think I'm going to enjoy it, but I think that based on that first 10%, as intrigued as it made me, I don't know if that would be my choice over some of the other ones.
Okay. Wait.
What are you doing?
I'm saying which ones my top 3 that I would want you to pick.
Oh, you're writing in there? Maybe we should go through everybody else's top 3. Leanne's, wait. Mom's Extraordinaries, which I already sorry, Mom. Hail Mary and Lightning Struck Heart. Alicia says Diviners, Project Hail Mary, and Dragonwick. Leanna says Diviners, The Things They Carried, and Project Hail Mary. Danielle says Diviners, Soul Eater, and Dragonwick. Heather says Frederick Bachman, Soul Eater, and Dragonwick. Daniel agrees with Mom, so he says Diviners, Hail Mary, and Lightning Struck Heart.
No, The Extraordinaries.
Oh, Extraordinaries.
Project
Hail Mary. And that's what I meant. I don't know why I said Diviners.
He picked the 3 that he's read.
Yes. I will vote for Project Hail Mary, Soul Eater, and the Lightning Struck Heart. So for the fun of it, my vote would be Project Hail Mary, Soul Eater, and the Lightning Struck Heart. You didn't put Soul Eater in your top 5, you dork.
That's because yes, but it was what I expected you to pick.
Oh.
Okay, at the time, this is the 3 that I would want you to pick.
Okay. Okay, I see. Okay.
The
That
5
makes
is
sense.
what
I'm
I
sorry.
think that you will pick.
I vote for my computer to not delay.
And so far, I'm right.
Huh?
I said, and so
Okay.
far, I'm right.
Well, I'm going based off your 5, Chelle. So let's talk about your 5. So you're right about the Diviners. You're right about Project Hail Mary. My grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry. That was one that I was able to eliminate, kind of similar to The Extraordinaries in 3 hours. I really liked it. I think that I'm going to like it more and more as I go along. But Frederick Bachman's writing for me takes me a little while to really, really get into it. I think it's just his writing style. And so I know that I'm going to love it. I'm very excited to read it, but that one was a little easier for me to eliminate than the other ones.
Okay.
So in my top 5, the things they carried, I eliminated from my top 5. I think that I'm going to love it, but it's another one of those ones where it took me a little bit of time to get into it. And so compared to the other ones, my immediate interest was a little different than some of the other ones. I do think that I'm going to love it, and I'm going to read it anyways, but it's not going to be in my top 5 for this. I apologize. And then, let's see, Bachman Extraordinaries and Project Hail Mary. The Blood Brothers, that I did eliminate that from my top 5. That was kind of hard because I really did enjoy that first 10%, and I had a lot of intrigue, even not knowing that it was a romance. Before I found out what it was, I was very intrigued by that one, and so the intrigue was high there, and I liked the writing. Like I said, it was very accessible, so that was hard to like, go down to 5. So We've got the Diviners, Project Hail Mary, Soul Eater, because that one surprised me the most, Dragonwyck, because, yeah, and the Lightning Struck Heart.
Oh, I was only 1 off. Nice. Man, I'm feeling good.
Paige is only 1 for 3.
Yeah, and
so those are my 5.
And I picked the 4 right away, the other ones. And it was that 5th one that I picked. My grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry because I could not figure out what you would pick after those 4. So Soul Eater, that makes me happy.
That one surprised me. But that one was the one, I think, of all of them that I had the hardest time putting down afterwards, because it was so easy to get into and I was so invested in finding out what was happening next. So, and it also just could be that I just really wanted a fun read like that.
Your mood.
It's going to be a fun read. Yeah, that one's going to be a really fun read. I can already tell. It's your match. Please don't unsubscribe.
She hasn't picked him yet. She just picked her top 5. No, she hasn't picked her top 3 yet.
Yeah, so the Diviners, Project Hail Mary, Soul Eater, Dragonwyck, and the Lightning Struck Heart are my top 5 right now. So, what am I going to choose? Hey, Margaret! Yay! The goal is to pick my top 3 so I can go. I only read the first 10% of the 10 contestants, and the top 3 I will read completely, those 3 books, and then I have to choose what book was my best love match, my best book love match of all the books that Chelle chose for me. Never. Thank you. Haven't heard of 2 of your top 5. Oh, which ones?
Oh.
Trying to make a joke with engaged. Oh, cute. Yeah, so basically I'll be engaged to 3 books, and then which one will I want to marry in the end? Which one book?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was supposed to. Oh, wait, not creepy. Yikes! No, I'm just kidding. I should have picked my top 3 by now. so everybody knows, like the original intention, was that I would have picked my top 3 by this point.
All right. Well,
Well, those 3 are possibilities.
they are. So the easiest way to do it would be, all right, what do you think right now, as of now, after all 10 of your dates, what do you think was the best date? What was your
Oh,
number one? What is your
how
number
is
one,
that?
Amy? Of
How is
all
that
the
a
10
thing?
books, of all the 10
No,
books,
that's a horrible question.
what was number one? Well, we're gonna help you. We're all helping you narrow it down to your 3.
But they were different kinds of dates.
I'm not talking about the physical location. I'm talking about the book. What was your top book match?
Oh goodness.
There are,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
yes.
the location.
What she says. There are only 3
There are
roses,
only 3
Amy.
roses.
So who gets your first rose?
Rude. Don't they get time to think about it on those shows? You know, they go, oh, and then they go to commercial break and they're like, oh, this is so stressful. It's so stressful. How am I going to make this choice?
I can only hold up like one of your 5. So here we go.
I can hold up 4 of them.
Only there you go. Here's one. Which is number 1, Amy? Okay. Well, yeah, that's 4. You're missing one. Dragonwick. Oh,
I don't
here,
have
let me pull it
Dragonwick.
up. I'll pull it up. Then you got 2.
I got to think back to the dates. And I know that like the date place itself is irrelevant, but it reminds me of my experience with the book. Which date did I enjoy myself the most with? Oh goodness, this is terrible. Terrible.
If you're gonna think about it that way, then you have to try to take out the setting because you really liked some of the settings with your actual book.
No, it's not. It's not the setting. It's
that's
more
giving
like
Dragonwick an extra.
But see, no, they have the magic editing. You choose just life. Yeah, I know. That was Soul Eater because you were left wanting more. That is the thrill of a great date. Oh, that's a good. Yeah, nice for like like. I already saw what your 3 choices were. Nice way
I'm completely with Melissa here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let's be honest.
Okay. No. Yeah, I knew it.
At the time, this was my most enjoyable date. Like the reading of the first 10% of this book was the most enjoyable.
It's okay.
It's the Diviners.
You said it. Number 1, the first rose goes to Diviners. Number 2,
the Dragonwick.
Oh, okay.
It was, and it had nothing to do with the setting. It had everything to do with the fact that I loved the first 10% of that book that you didn't even bother to read. Oh, number 3.
All right.
This is terrible. Okay.
All right.
It's weird hearing this 8 seconds earlier than hearing. Oh yeah. It's the same with like
the other room.
When I can hear it in Mom's thing. Okay. Wow. I already made a choice. 2 choices. I've got Project Hail Mary, Soul Eater, and the Lightning Struck Heart. But I want to read all 3 of those. So I don't. Actually, Amy, no pressure.
All right. Think back to those 3. Which did you have the most fun on?
Ooh. All of them.
Yeah, well, you have to pick one. There's only 1 rose left.
Let me look at the books. Just look at them. Hold up Lightning Struck Heart again.
All right.
I mean, I know it's not based off the book cover. I just need him in my mind.
Well, you made Nathaniel extremely happy.
This is funny. Who would you rather be in the hot tub? actually probably Soul Eater, but like as far as enjoyment of the book, I really like Lightning Struck Heart, but I want to read that one too. There's one right answer. How could you stand not continuing to read the really good ones? I'm in awe. Very strange. I'm gonna read all of them, Margaret. All of them, and maybe I'll try and read them all right now because I'm just. This is awful. This is terrible. Drop them one by one. You can't have them. Says who? I guess for this I can't. Okay, so the final answer is
the
Diviners, Project Hail Mary, and Dragonwick.
Dragonwick.
So who guessed that? Did anybody guess those three together? Sorry, Melissa.
So.
Shell did, actually. Shell guessed those three when we were talking about it on our road trip. Those are the three you guessed.
Was it?
You didn't guess them this time, but those were the three you guessed on our road trip.
I didn't guess this. That was what I wanted you to pick.
Look at Danielle. How could you not pick Soul Eater? He got the He did. And honestly, between this one and I really liked the Lightning Struck Heart too. So like, this was rigged. This was rigged. Maybe you can do the vlog for the winner, but do like what could have been oh yes. I'm writing that down, Alicia. I'm writing that down. What could have been vlog. Like when they come back together later, they always have those like dinner parties where they invite everybody else back. Oh, that's fun. That would be so much fun. I mean, you can. It's called reading multiple books, and that's what I do. But it wouldn't work for this particular. It wouldn't work for this particular challenge. I got 2 or 3. That's good. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Dragonwick.
You did.
You did it, Alicia. Alicia.
Good job.
You and I. A reunion. A reunion. Exactly. Those are the funnest things. Seeing, or when it doesn't work out with the partner they like their final choice, it doesn't work out, then they're on their honeymoon and it's like not going smoothly. That's when they pull in all the other guys that they didn't pick. It's fine. We'll see them all in paradise. Exactly. Oh, that sounds like fun. I definitely have to do a what could have been vlog. I like that. In paradise.
All right. You did it.
My question is, when am I going to actually read these?
It's a good question.
It's a good question.
Right now.
I'm truly blind. Let's see. Oh wait, no. I knew about 2 of these when I was reading them. Like I knew about 2 of these. I didn't know Dragonwick when I didn't know what book that was. So in that case, there was only 3 of the books that I didn't know what they were. Dragonwick, 3 Hours,
and 3 Hours.
And the Blood Brothers. Those were the only 3 I didn't know. That was high pressure. I know. I'm sweating and my face is all red. Chelle, what do you think of this whole experience as far as being everybody was so impressed in all the video, especially in the announcement video, how your love for me is so true that you're willing to go through all this work to set this up, to plan all the reads for me.
Yeah, I love you. I also am really weird, and that kind of thing is fun to me. I have no idea why. It was several hours typing at the computer.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have asked you if I wouldn't have asked you if I didn't think you would have loved doing that. I guess I know you pretty well.
And it was just so much fun picking the books out. I know Amy's reading choice pretty well at this point, what books she likes and what she doesn't. So picking the 10 was fun. Also kind of working the books that I like too, that I know she'll like. Minus, like, I kept kicking myself. Like, I knew I had to put Dragonwyck in there, but it's not one I'm at all interested in her reading.
Why'd you kick yourself?
Because I knew it would take away from the choices of other books I would rather have you read. So I
She
did
was
actually,
selfless in that choice.
I did actually go back and forth on that one. It was not one on my original list of books for you. And then I was like, of all the books that I picked, like, I need to actually put one of those in there. But I knew it would take away a spot.
I mean, it was a good choice. It made it into my honeymoon phase or my engagement
Yeah.
phase.
Yeah.
Oh, Chelle, are you a professional DM? Nathaniel would like
No.
her to be. Have you ever played?
No, I'll leave that to Nathaniel.
Yeah.
No. I've always wanted to, but I never have.
Okay, so did I hurt your feelings with my 5 eliminations? Be honest.
No. I knew they'd be eliminated. I knew which books you'd choose. The 3 that I put in here was the ones I wanted you to choose. I knew
Yeah.
which books you would choose right away. I threw those in there for you. So no, my feelings didn't get hurt. I did, however, the idea, what I took from this was I made you read 10% of books that I really love, that I know that you'll love. So it might knock those on your like 30,000 year TBR list. It might knock those ones further to the front.
So you were doing yourself a favor in getting off the books that you can't stand seeing on my want to read list because there's so many on there, and Chelle, it bothers Chelle. And it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I could care less. And it drives Chelle bonkers.
She's got over 1,000
Like
books on that
1,700
list.
now. Oh, yeah.
And she will never read them all. There's just no way. There's no
No,
way
not
that she
possible.
will ever read.
Totally
So
not.
it drives me crazy.
But I have a lot
So.
of possibilities for when I need to pick books for things.
Hmm.
I got Erin as my chaotic recommender, but I'd love to see what chaos Chelle would bring on my reading love life. Chelle reeks chaos.
I do.
I think you should let Chelle challenge you to fully read a book like the TV show Married at First Sight.
I have never seen that, so I'm not entirely sure.
I think that's where you sorry. I think that's where you just marry them. You read you just marry them before you even see them. So you don't see them, you get married to them, and then you have to decide if you want to stay married or get divorced. Shall challenge you to fully read a book like the TV show Married at First Sight. Maybe that would be a fun spin-off. 3,000 years.
It's not.
Thinks about next month. Oh, next month, Chelle. You might have to wreak some havoc for Paige.
I gotcha. I can type.
700. I can beat that, Jean. I got way more than that. I'm a winner. I'm a winner.
I've got maybe 200 on mine, and if I sat down, I could do that in half a year, and I don't add more that I don't take off.
Melissa, you chose violence.
Ooh.
Not if it's a physical book. Not if it's a physical book.
Oh yeah. It's like your coffee with a book thing.
Just no, not a physical book. No. Oh no, that's just mean. You chose violence. Help you get the 3,000-year-old team. It wouldn't take 30,000 years to read 1,700 books. We're being a little extreme here. Oh, Chelle, we aren't yet anywhere near a next round of this, but what were the ideas for a next round?
So, season 2 of Book Love is Blind. Whenever Amy finishes season 1.
Next year.
We're going to do something very similar. We're going to I will pick 5 books, that better not still be from this list at that point in time. And we will open up my email address for you guys to send your recommendations for the other 5 so that you guys could recommend books that you think would be Amy's perfect match. If, she doesn't fall in love, live happily ever after with the ending from season 1. See,
I mean, my love is fickle. It's fickle. It only lasts a short time.
season 2, we would either do an email or I think we're going to do a Google form. Never mind. Nathaniel, my IT tech,
I'm not your IT tech.
told me that we're going to do a Google form so that you guys could tell us what her perfect match would be. And
organization is not
5
a fault.
and 5 and see what Amy chooses in the top 3.
You did an amazing job, Chelle. Loved watching the series. Chelle, the likelihood of this is still high. Terribly frightening. Love. Oh, fun. Season 2 will be awesome. I'm keen to God's Harper. That is wonderful. Yeah, so Chelle will probably, based on when we actually do it, which might not be till next summer, depending on my school schedule.
Possibly.
It'll depend on how things are looking.
But a season a year.
Yeah, and so it would help for you to send as many that you, and it should hopefully be what you really believe I will enjoy, and as many as you can, because I could possibly read some of the books that maybe you send before summer, but at least Chelle has a lot of options. She has a lot of different things that she can choose from when it comes to, and she can always save the other choices for another round if we ever do another round, right?
Wow.
What?
He's my IT tech.
Those don't correlate. But yeah, that's what we're kind of thinking about was we get you involved in trying to figure out what you think my love choices are. And Chelle won't take it personally if I don't choose her 5, right?
She won't. But I would challenge whenever I create this Google form, which will be around the time she announces season 2. I will challenge you guys to also pick matches for her that won't bore me to death writing them.
That is not fair. No, that's not fair because it is based on my enjoyment. And
I know. I tried.
Don't listen to her. Don't listen to her. It needs to be this is about me. It's not about you. I'm going to start having to think about my list of potential recommendations. And Paige, you're just frightening. You're just frightening right now. Do we get bragging rights if we get it perfect?
I guess. I feel like I'm bragging rights all the time.
Oh, you just challenge Paige. Paige is like, I'm going to get both. It'll be one that Amy loves and that Chelle won't. You wrote Dragon Wick out. And it was worth it. One to hurt Chelle. Oh! She's going to pick like a book that's 1,500 pages long. Yeah. The most boring book ever. Chelle might get me to read a TJ Klune. Lightning Struck Heart. Or The Extraordinaries. But, Jean, I think you'll like The Lightning Struck Heart. Bold of you to assume I haven't already made the form. For not being her IT tech, Nathaniel, you sure are acting like one.
I believe Nathaniel was the one who actually gave me the idea, or actually gave the idea for season 2.
Yeah, because he's clever, and he's very, like IT-ish. No, he's content creator-ish. Yeah. Okay, well, that was fun. That was exciting. I now have to figure out when and where I'm actually going to be able to work these 3 books into my reading life. So, I will not be able to keep up with this every week, be able to put out each video. Maybe, like, the next one next week. Give me at least a couple of weeks to at least get the first one done. Because I got a lot of books that I need to read. I'm not going to let this fall through the cracks, I promise. I promise, everyone. Although reading lately has been hard for me. I know how social media works. And then why didn't we have an official poll for this vlog? Because
he actually suggested it. He
He did
suggested it,
suggest it.
but he didn't do it in time for us to be able to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, and then we did try to do it on YouTube, but we can only do 4 possibilities. We couldn't do a full 10.
Yeah. So he actually
So
did give that suggestion.
yeah, can we confirm that what our final dates are? Oh, Project Hail Mary, The Diviners by Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, The Diviners by Libba Bray, and
Dragonwick.
Dragonwick by Anne Sutton. I'm asking you, Chelle.
Wait, what?
I'm
What's the
asking
question?
you. What's the author's name of?
Oh, Anya Sutton.
Anya Sutton. Do you have a picture to put up?
Yeah, somewhere. Do 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 do.
This could be a Frederick Bachman book title.
Dragonwick
by Anya Sutton.
Sutton.
Which is funny because I love Gothic novels, and I've read, not all of them, but I know of a lot of them, and I've never heard of Dragonwick before this. So
Neither did I. Google. Damn you, Google.
my grandpa asked me to, that sounds like a Frederick Bachman book title. This was a lot of editing. It was a lot of editing, and it was great. It was more finding the time to go and do the dates and to make them different. So I got a little burnt out after the 6th book, not because I was burnt out because of the books, just because it was a lot to try to plan all these, and I was trying to get them all done right away so that I could start putting them out before Chelle sent me the videos, and it just didn't work out because I just ran out of steam. Yeah, she was busy.
Yeah,
Really
no,
appreciate all the effort you put into your video series.
I was trying to ignore that Dragonwick existed and just zoned out.
S2 without the finale. Yeah, we definitely need the finale of S1. Let's see. Agree with Paige. Definitely appreciate all the work for. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it because this has been like such a fun series. And when I asked Chelle, when I was like thinking about this idea, because I really liked book. I love Love Is Blind, and I know it's kind of ridiculous reality love show, but it was fun. And I think Danielle and I were talking. Danielle, you're the reason why I came up with this idea. Danielle and I were talking about making an actual app for, like the concept was fun where you don't, you just get to know the person first before you actually meet them or see them. And we were talking about coming up with a romantic, like an app and how that would be possible. But, people would cut corners by sending their phone number, sending pictures through the app, or, find other ways to cut corners. And then it would take away from the whole Love Is Blind scenario. And then I was like, well, what if I made it bookish just for my channel? So then I was like, what could I do? And I started thinking up ideas, and I thought of Chelle because Chelle knows my taste very well. And Chelle also would get a kick out of writing out 10% of books. Yeah.
When I was little, we didn't have computer games or anything to entertain me. I would pretend to be a book editor, and I would trace all the letters in magazines and stuff, pretend I was writing them.
Oh, I shouldn't be laughing.
That was my childhood.
You've got like an organizational spirit, or like you should have been a court reporter. That would have been your perfect job. Danielle's got ideas. Oh, Chelle, you're so cute. You are. I used to play with typewriter and do pretend office.
I had one of those too, a little old.
I think it's perfect. Perfect. So I will have my 3 dates, or my 3, not dates, these are 3 honeymoons. And I wanted to take my honeymoons on actual little 3-day vacations. But unfortunately, because of school starting and because I'm poor and because this time of the year it's really hard to book things, because people are still booking everything. I'm going to do staycations, stay honeymoons with my books. So I'll try to figure out a fun way to make it entertaining. But I will make these 3 books work, and then you'll see my honeymoons when they come out, because I'm very excited to go on romantic getaways, even if it's here, with these 3 books.
Mm-hmm. And then you'll have to pick your top one. And those are 3 very different books.
I don't know if The Diviners is that different from Dragonwyck.
Yeah, it's very different. I could tolerate The Diviners. I continued that series.
I don't understand it. It's so good. The beginning of Dragonwyck is so good.
It's yeah.
I look forward to them too. Thanks, Jane. I'll try to do something fun at least during my honeymoons. Make them entertaining. Good luck to the 3 Canadians. Good luck.
I'm voting for Project Hail Mary.
Oh. Okay, that's a bold.
Okay.
Bold, like.
That is
What?
the one that I want you to pick.
What you actually believe to be true.
You're gonna pick The Diviners.
You don't know that. You don't know that. I
That's
was
my call.
equally
I
interested
called
in
it
all 3 of
today.
these.
I called it today.
No,
It'll be The
I thought
Diviners,
Diviners.
but
Jean
but
thought
I'm
The Diviners
crossing
was
my.
very YA. I might think it's very YA, although I don't mind YA.
It is. It is YA.
Nathaniel agrees with you. Not biased at all, Nathaniel. Hold on one second.
He's very biased.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't state it. It'll jinx it.
It's okay. It won't jinx it. She cares not for my opinion on books.
I mean, obviously not. She thought Dragonwyck was the most boring thing at the beginning, and I just think it's fantastic. So,
And I knew that she would pick it. So
I'm going Diviners is winner too. Good luck. Well, this has been incredible. Thank you so much to our wonderful bookish matchmaker for figuring all this out. Let's see, Diviners is so good. Just finished. Hi, Diana. How you doing? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for like putting all this together as far as like picking out the books, doing the 10%. It's so amazing. And we're going to see now what happens with these 3 choices. I think the only thing that would really injure Chelle is if I pick Dragonwyck as my final winner. Of all these 10.
No, it wouldn't injure me. It would just be, of course you did.
But I'm very excited about all 10 of these books, and I think that based on the first 10%, everyone out there should check them out if they sound interesting to you, because they were all very easy to get into. I was very impressed with how well Chelle picked books that I could get into within the first 10%, even if, like with Blood Brothers, she wouldn't know that. Like, it still was very good for the first 10%. It still was good. Like, even though it wasn't what you thought it would be for the first. So, like, everything was great. And I recommend everybody read all the other ones that I haven't read and tell me what you think. That's what I always make everybody else do. Read this book, because I don't have time to read it.
Which is how I read half of those.
I love the idea of the what could have been. Like, Alicia, that might just happen. Yeah, Anya Seton. Mm-hmm.
Anya, Anya.
Yes. Okay. Oh yes, I had so many books on my TV. Yay! Okay, well, thank you so much, and thank you again, wonderful bookish matchmaker. Yeah, I know. That was perfect, and this has been such an incredible ride. So, thank you everybody for being here, witnessing my pain. We'll see you later. We're ending.